Welcome back to the Research Talks with Alan Green from Stockbox. Hi, Alan. How are you doing?
I'm very good, Mark. How are you?
Yes, very well. Thank you, Alan. Just enjoying the snow that's here in the Netherlands. Apparently, it is the worst snowstorm since 2010. But if this is the
Wow.
worst, then I'm not too concerned because I've certainly seen similar in my life. So, there's a lot of snow. It's very drifty and it's quite fun. And the canals are all frozen. But yeah, it's a nice crisp day over here. What's it like with you?
It's actually pretty similar. We've got a bit of high cloud, but blue sky, the sun shining. It's still very cold, but I think it's about 1 degree. But the snow's gone, but everything's still very icy outside. So yeah, frankly, if we have another couple of weeks of this, I'll be delighted because it's the rain that I think's the killer. That's because everything's just soggy and muddy and all the rest of it. At least this way, the ground's frozen solid. So
Yeah, it's nicer.
yeah, much healthier.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking some tech stocks, tech and also some crypto as well, open banking, open finance, because you're going to be telling us about Moat, which recently listed on the London Stock Exchange, and Bidstack as well. So you decide which one you want to take first.
Well, let's start with Moat. It's been really interesting, sort of taking a look at this company. I think they've finally they've achieved great things because they've created an app which is both intuitive and does what we as customers want our money to do. In other words, be easy to use, simple to access, seamless in interaction and the user experience, and something that's you can literally have a one wallet. We've been talking about the one wallet solution in finance for some years, and I think there are a lot of attempts have been made, but I think Moat have actually come up with something which incorporates Bitcoin, which is incredibly useful. So, as you rightly say, there's a recent IPO. The company was founded, it's been in operation since 2017, and IPO'd as Moat in October last year. And they've set out, it's a very simple, straightforward offering. They've set out a payment, a solution that brings the payment and loyalty industries together, and basically plugs them into the next generation financial ecosystem. And at the heart of this is the Moat Super App, which is a one wallet banking solution, which of course includes Bitcoin. The system includes two payment solutions. There's a partnership with one of the companies that's owned by Moat Global, which is now owned 100% by Moat Global. A partnership with Tencent, WeChat Pay, of course, and Alipay. And these are the two largest payment platforms in the world, and are used by Chinese travelers. So it's a seamless app that enables Chinese travelers to travel to the UK or wherever and use the app to make purchases of goods and so on. At the core of this is Bitcoin. Of course, we've seen the explosion in the Bitcoin share price. We were talking about that before we came on, within the Moat Super App, there is a wallet for Bitcoin where you can trade, you can buy and sell Bitcoin, but the difference here is that within the wallet there is a Bitcoin jar. And the Moat Super App pays interest to holders of Bitcoin within the Bitcoin jar at 5% APY per annum. So that's a very attractive offering, because of course, obviously, as share traders, we look at financial gains differently. But for savers putting money into a bank or building society, the returns from putting cash on deposit are negligible now. So 5% is a very attractive offer, and obviously the opportunity to own cryptocurrency too. Within this, there are free and instant sterling deposits and withdrawals. And the security in the app is absolutely top notch. In fact, the CEO described it as akin to Fort Knox, with qualified digital assets, asset custody, and that enables, of course, seamless payments, flash top ups from any bank. So if you've got, say, an HSBC account, you can top up your Moat app in seconds. Also, due to the popularity of the app, they've introduced a peer-to-peer payment system, so you can invite friends and family, and you can receive a referral fee. That was £10, and the company have today, and of course we're talking on Friday, that the company have today up that to £20. I'm going to talk about the numbers and the success of this app in a second, because they've just blazed a trail since coming to market. But that's a key element to marketing, because when you've got something that works so well, you can engage family and friends. Once of course you're using the app and you become used to it, it's as often happens in the finance industry, it becomes a very sticky offering. So the other part of the business is the payment and loyalty solutions for business. Of course, I mentioned the partnerships with Tencent, WeChat Pay, and Alipay. So developing payment and loyalty solutions for businesses. What the blockchain-based offering does, it provides really deep behavioral insights into the user base, which enables the company to engage with their customers in new and innovative ways. Of course, that includes the referral fees that I've described, and of course other loyalty systems. And I think there's a general consensus, of course, as evidenced by the emerging challenger banks like Starling and others, that the legacy banks are, they've almost had their day. They're out of data they're offering, and unless they change their approach and change their attitude to customers, I think in some ways too, they're going to get left behind, and rightly so. So just to look at the timeline of the company, of course, the company came to market in October and said straight away it was going to adopt Bitcoin as an asset. And indeed, up to 10% of the cash reserves the company holds are held in Bitcoin. Also, at that point, we saw one of the exec directors, Richard Moorcroft, buy 20,000 shares. So that was a good indication to the market. A director buying shares in the open market. In December, we started to see the growth in usage, and this has been a feature, as you'll see shortly, as we go through over the past few months. So in December, the company said that five times more users were buying and selling Bitcoin on Moat than had been doing so in August. In January, the company announced a record break in December in volumes and new users. Volumes were up 500%, new users up 1,500%, and at that point, its Bitcoin holdings had also risen over 100% in value, obviously driven, as we know, by the huge movements in Bitcoin over the Christmas period. The first week in January saw a 40% uplift from December, and also it significantly moved the Moat app into the top 2 in the UK App Store finance category. So straight away, from coming to market from a standing start, the Moat app is up there in the very top apps. So hugely significant. Bitcoin is the cornerstone, if you like, of the Moat offering going forward, particularly for the consumer, and to help its customers and users understand Bitcoin better. Moat published a Bitcoin white paper on its website to raise awareness and to help its users understand the mechanics behind the app. So, bringing us more or less up to date, the company announced today, of course, on Friday, it's launched the Android app, and of course, the app is basically working very well with Apple at the moment. But of course, the Android app now launch is going to accelerate Moat growth rapidly. Trading volumes are up 130% from December. They've grown 110% month on month since launching in August. And, we're seeing Mode very much on the very much in the public eye now. The chief commercial officer, Rita Liu, was interviewed on Sky, and the company have said, at this stage, given the opportunities that their increased asset base is now seeing, that they're seeking acquisitions. And I think what's interesting is obviously the success and the value of companies judged by the average cash that's held within the app. So the new challenger banks like Starling, Tide, and Mondo, the average customer balance is about 150. Customer balances are 10 times that, which is hugely significant because, of course, they're holding Bitcoin, as part of it, and they're receiving interest on holding Bitcoin. So it's a slam dunk. The other side of this is the seamless ease of use too. It's a very simple app. It's receiving rave reviews, hence it's top of the. It's right at the top of the UK App Store, and it's certainly the board. You've of course Mark, you interviewed Jonathan Rowling, the CEO, and Jonathan's got a great background within finance. Of course, he was co-founder with, in fact, the other board director, Gary Wilkinson, of the Redwood Bank in the UK, which was the first ever in the cloud bank hosted on the Microsoft Azure platform. And the company have very clearly set out their stall in terms of growth. They expect to make acquisitions going forward to grow the business and further broaden the asset and the customer base. So the company have already said that the run rate currently is hugely exceeding their targets. They had a target for 1 million customers, and they are well ahead of their of expectations at this point in time. So I think this is probably the first company to fully integrate cryptocurrency with normal banking and it's certainly the first company to pay interest on holding Bitcoin, and I think the only competitor it's got is Argo blockchain. But with the ambitions the company has for developing KYC, that's Know Your Customer software, further down the road, and of course credit scoring, this app is going to be a must-have. I think they've absolutely nailed it. And if we look at the share price performance on the years or since the company came to market, the company currently has a market cap of 47 million. Came to market at around 50p, and shares currently trading today at 59p, having been as high as 77p on the year. So really excited about the prospects for this company as we go forward into 2021.
They certainly seem to have hit the ground running, don't they, Alan, since they only listed in, when was it, October? And there's a lot of chatter around at the moment.
Well, there is, but I think it's driven by customer growth and also the amount of money that customers are holding, and that in terms of growing your asset base and seeing how the company is valued, that's going to make a huge difference. Also, it's worth noting that Moat are the cheapest platform to trade with which to trade Bitcoin. It's 0.99% to trade Bitcoin a commission, compared to Coinbase and others. And I mean, we talked about crypto platforms in the past, but I know from speaking to some colleagues this week that some of the other platforms aren't as easy to use as they might be, and there have been some problems in making the sale and getting the cash back into. No such problems with Mode. I think it's addressed all the issues. It saw a gap in the market, and it's developed an app to fill that gap in the market. And I think it is genuinely the first one wallet banking solution incorporating cryptocurrency. And I think, of course, the CEO has said that Bitcoin is obviously the core cryptocurrency there, but they are looking at Ethereum possibly for later the year. So just huge potential, huge growth potential. And if you look at the way banks and financial institutions are valued. Look at the rate of customer acquisition here. I mean, at 44 million, it's a drop in the ocean compared to what it could be.
Indeed, and like you said earlier about how traditional banks operate these days, and setting yourself up. I know what setting myself up here for a bank in the Netherlands, and I think it's exceptionally, probably an exception rather than the rule. But it was quite an arduous process that took quite a long time. Even had to have an interview with the account manager, and she asked me why I want a bank. Which seemed like a very silly question for me to be answering. Lots of forms to fill in, but you know what it's like. It's the same, similar situations anywhere to try and open a bank. And you've got challenger banks like Starling and Monzo that younger people today, that's what they want to use. They want ease, they want it instant, they want it now. They don't want to have to go through all that rubbish effectively. And I think although Moat is not a bank as such, what they're offering is that ease of transaction, all your things in one place, you can see them, and they're integrating with merchants, aren't they, to get set up to actually transact in cryptocurrencies, which is a first, really.
Well, it is, and also there's the security angle too. I mean, the chief executive, Jonathan referred to, the Fort Knox nature of the offering, and of course the holdings are insurance guaranteed too. So they've absolutely nailed it on every front. So with you in Holland there, Mark, it's had a Moat app, then you could have used your UK bank without having to worry about opening up a bank account in Holland. That theoretically that's what this does. So for people that are traveling around and thinking, well, I'm going to be, living in, say, Italy for 6 months or for 3 months. I don't need to worry about banking now. I'll just use my Moat app. It'll do everything I need to do. Yeah. And I think that's the great thing. We're talking always about global solutions. We're a global society nowadays, and this is a truly global app that breaks down barriers and boundaries, and it can be used anywhere, seamlessly integrates with your bank, and obviously that process so much easier.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, thank you very much, Alan. So let's now move on to Bidstack.
Right, Bidstack. So Bidstack, of course, I've spoken about before with you, Mark, and this is a company that's at the forefront of providing a channel for advertisers to reach the huge market that exists in online gaming. And this is a vast marketplace. It's bigger than streaming TV. It's bigger than online. It's just vast. Estimated the global marketplace is estimated to be as big as 256 billion by 2025. Currently, over 3 billion gamers worldwide, and that's just growing exponentially. And of course, we've spoken before about gaming solutions. There are people now that watch YouTube videos of gamers playing games, so they can actually watch them playing the game and get all the hints and tips to become more successful. So it's something that's frankly, it sounds like watching paint dry to me, but it's a huge marketplace nonetheless. So what Bidstack have developed is a dynamic ad placement system that integrates into games, and of course gamers playing football, for instance. You see on the footballing games, you'll see the hoardings on the side of the pitch, and whereas historically you buy a game and you always see the same ads, now you'll see a live channel where the ads that reach your profile or a profile to you, you'll see those on the hoardings with the Bidstack offering. So the company has gone through an evolutionary process. It's hired some of the top people in the industry and put together an advisory board, and these are people like Andrew House, the former PlayStation boss, Will Cassoy from Ad Colony, Walt Disney, Brian Nieder from EA Games, Jonathan Epstein from GameSpot, Joel Livesey, Trade Desk, Pete Beanie, Spotify, and so on. There's a huge advisory board guiding Bidstack through the process of firstly integrating the solution across network, and then providing a metric system that can measure the effectiveness, the efficacy, and the return on investment that advertisers are receiving. Because of course that's the key element. You can serve the ads, that's fine, but you've got to measure the response, measure the return, and provide the data back to the advertisers. So this process has been taking place over the past the past few years. They brought a chap in called Derek Wise from who was the former Grapeshot Chief Technology Officer, and of course now with Oracle. And Derek stayed with the company and helped them through. It was announced he was stepping down with the results that the company put out at the start of February. But nonetheless, James Draper and his team. James Draper, of course, is the chief exec, have been driving forward and developing the offering. In December, the company provided a trading update ahead of the numbers to say that they were they were seeing greatly increased demand from their advertisers. Now, bear in mind they're working with the top agencies, including Dentsu, WPP, Publicis, Omnicom, Accenture, and so on. With these agencies have been testing the system. They've been testing the system on behalf of their clients, and clients like Burberry, Duracell, KFC, BMW, Volkswagen, and so on have all agreed to undertake test spends. Mm-hmm. Toward the end of last year, in the second half of the year, the company said that the test programs had succeeded, and they were moving off test into on plan. So the advertisers are now starting to spend money. This was in fact picked up by their house broker Stafel, who published a note with a discounted cash flow target of 8.5p, but expecting 20p within a year to 18 months. Mm-hmm. And of course this. We've seen a lot of movement in the share price after December. The shares in fact rose as high as 13p, and then came back down again once the numbers were announced. We had the numbers on February the 1st. The first half numbers came in at 140,000. Second half numbers came in at 1.7 million. And of course, this is the effect of advertisers moving from test to on plan. Now, assuming that stays that way, that indicates a run rate of about 3.5 to 4 million over the year, assuming they sign no new customers at all, which of course they are. But the company did say with the update that due to the pandemic, the sales cycle was lengthening, and they were developing, in collaboration with Oracle, a system called Moat, which has created a validation system to enhance the integrity and the validity of the data produced from it, and also opens up what they call a brand lift. That's the significant opportunities to upsell based on the data that's coming back. So we have an approved partner network of 25 partners in over 30 countries, and the company ended the year with cash of 2.7 million. A lot of the pundits in the market, well, I say a lot. There was one in particular saying that a cash call would be required immediately after the numbers came out. But given the run rate, there was a loss of 7 million on the year. So, of course, on the back of that, the shares came back down, and giving the company a value of just 26 million. Now, if this continues, at 3.5 million for the year, then I think based on Stafel's discounted cash flow target, we can expect to move back up to the recent highs of 13p before too long. But we're going to get a further update with the full year numbers, of course, when they come in, and with those numbers will be will be indications of current trading, post period end trading, and also indications as to the or confirmation of the run rate as we go forward into 2021. So once Bidstack has gone through this validation process, once the company or the agencies the company are working with move for other advertisers into the network and continue moving the others off test onto on plan, I think we're going to see an explosion in the valuation of the company. Bearing in mind the company a couple of years ago was trading as high as 30p. They've now got a much higher headcount. They've got as opposed to 20 people working on the team a couple of years ago, there are now just under 70 people. So obviously there's a bigger bill there, but that's indicative, I think, of the success that the company's achieved to date. I know the CEO, James Draper, got a slating by that certain journalist out there that shall remain nameless for publishing or putting in a statement that they expected numbers to grow rapidly a couple of years ago. And of course, it's taken longer than that. But given the nature of technology companies, I don't think that's any surprise. But I think they've done the hard yards now. They've achieved proof of concept. They've got the ROI metrics in place. So the partner agencies and the brands that are running campaigns on this can see what they're getting in return from this. And of course, this is where we know that TV advertising is less and less effective because, of course, people now just press the skip ad button and wind through the ads. So advertisers are looking for other means of getting to market, and there's the young generation, the big spenders. This is where they're. This is what they're doing. They're playing games. So reaching this potential marketplace through gaming is. This is the new. It's added a new dimension to advertising opportunities for major blue chip clients.
Great. I see also, Alan, they seem to have some news that's just literally come out.
Well, this is further news from the Moat collaboration with Oracle. Just to expand on that a bit more. Of course, when games are being played, a lot of the time it's hard to verify whether the brands or the ads are being delivered to a real person when running in-game advertising. And the Moat collaboration and validation of this process, and they've announced today that they've taken a step forward with a game, a football game that has produced some very strong numbers and has really provided firm data-based validation of the Moat collaboration, and ultimately the validation of the Bidstack offering and its value to advertisers. I don't think is the final step in the chain. They have the means to deliver, they have the means to measure, but of course within that there are anomalies such as is this a computer playing the game or is it a real person? They've now cut through that with the Moat collaboration, and of course that will give confidence to advertisers considering advertising to a gaming marketplace. That will give them confidence to take the next steps. And as I say, based on the run rate, so 1.7 million generated in the second half of last year. If that run rate continues, that indicates 3.5 million. But there will be other. But we will get a further indication of that from the company into March and April.
Okay, that's great. I know we've spoken a bit before about Bidstack, Alan. How's it been performing in the last few months, do you think?
Over the past few, well, we had the numbers, and I suppose really this is of buy the rumor, sell the news. Of course, we knew the numbers were going to be good, and the shares were trading around 5p at the start of December. By the end of December, they'd they've moved up to 7.5p, and then of course in the run up to the results we saw 13p and then 13p again before they fell or that they moved back down to 6.5p. So I think the good thing is we're seeing it return to December levels, and certainly on the news this morning, as I'm looking at the share price, the share price is up 8.5%. So I think we're going to see the update on current trading, which is what everyone's. I think, provided we can see the run rate has continued and maybe is increasing, then I think we'll see a substantial re-rating for the stock.
Yeah, okay. And it was good to hear that you mentioned there about the headcount changing as well. That's proof that the company is definitely growing behind the scenes.
Growing hugely, but as I say, so we've got the team in place there, but it's also the advisory board that's behind it. You know, these are people these are the leaders in their field across the gaming industry, all working with Bidstack to make it succeed, and just providing the perspective and the depth of knowledge to across all platforms, and of course provide the validation, as we've seen with the announcement this morning with the Moat collaboration, provide verification as to yes, that's a real person playing the game, let's profile that person, and we can return that data to the advertiser.
Great. Okay. Well, again, Alan, thank you very much for your time there. Moat and Bidstack, thank you very much for giving us your take on it.
Thanks again, Mark. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you for listening to this Stockbox interview. For more information, interviews and videos, visit our website at stockboxmedia.com or give us a follow on Twitter by searching @StockboxMedia.